Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Thank you so much for tuning into the livest, dopest, freshest, most amazing podcast there is on the market. If you can hear my voice, that means one thing, and that means one thing only. And I'll tell you what it means right now. That means my name is Jamal Thompson, also known as JT, and you are tuned into the Qrack the Code podcast. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. Please make sure that you like, share, subscribe, retweet, favorite, wherever you're watching this. We could not do this without you guys, so I appreciate you guys for joining us today. We have a very special guest coming with me later today, but we will talk about that in a moment. But before that, I have to thank our 5 Code Advisory Board members always for helping us redefine the define. That is Chief Randy Evans, that is Mr. Tom Savage of the Cookeville NAACP, that is Dr. Levita Burwell, that is Dr. Julie Baker, and that is Coach Marcus King. Without those 5 people, we could not make any of this happen. And I also want to thank a very special person, that is Gary in the STEM Center. He helps make all of this happen. He's a very special person to the Code family. So thank you guys for helping us redefine the define and change the narrative of the student athlete. So that's enough of me talking. We are going to take a brief break, a brief commercial break, I guess that's what we're going to call it. And we will get back to our first and only guest of the day. Please stay tuned on the Qrack the Code podcast. Welcome back to another episode of the Qrack the Code podcast. We have a very, very, very special guest with me here today. Everybody, please put your hands together and help me welcome Taylor Dorsey. Woo! Go Taylor! Oh my gosh! Woo! Woo! How are you, Taylor?
Oh, sorry.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for joining us.
No problem. I'm happy to be here.
So let's just jump right into it. Let's talk about how Taylor was brought up. We know you're from Hoover, Alabama,
Yeah.
There. So what was your experience like growing up there? What was your family like, home like? Give us the whole rundown.
Okay. Well, I was born in the Birmingham area. Went to Hoover my 9th grade year. Started playing volleyball 8th grade, and then I changed schools, played at Hoover then for 2 years, and then strictly stuck to the club route the end of my sophomore year, and played fall training, regular club season, beach, and now I'm here.
So you started playing volleyball in 8th grade?
Mm-hmm.
So how quickly did you realize that I'm pretty good at this volleyball thing? Did it come natural? Did it take some time to learn?
Ooh, it took a while.
How long
was
did it
not
take?
good. I didn't really get the hang of it until probably the end of my club season in the 9th grade. So I had just turned 15 that summer.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of picking it up oh, okay, I got this.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's kind of when I started to get my competitive edge.
Yeah.
And then there's different spectrum. So there's maybe a regional team, the elite team, and there's
mm-hmm.
the national team. So I made the elite team, and then I got better, and I made the JV team at my high school. And then once clubs came around, I made a national team, and I was like, is that right? I was just Mom, can you text Julie and ask her hey, I think you made a typo,
yeah.
That's my number. And then she was like, no, B-man. I was like, oh.
And this
cool.
was around your sophomore year, you said?
Yeah.
So what lured you to playing volleyball? Did you play any other sports prior to volleyball? What made volleyball stick for you?
I played a little bit of basketball, but I wasn't good.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't really that aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a small Christian school prior to going to Hoover. So everyone was playing more than one sport.
Mm-hmm.
So I played basketball in middle school, but wasn't really good. So I typically came around to volleyball just because my friends were doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom played volleyball throughout high school too. So
okay.
That was one thing. And moving into high school, considering I was just getting onto the club circuit, I just decided to stick with it.
Okay. So you make the national team.
Mm-hmm.
You're a star. Let's just call it what it is. You're a star, right?
I don't know about all that.
So what made you choose Tennessee Tech to come here? How was your recruiting process like coming out of high school?
It was tough. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was pretty tough for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're stressed. You know, you got people committing really early on, like people committing as early as like 8th grade.
Yep.
And then with me like starting so late, I felt like I was kind of behind. So I have like friends like going to, you know, their major schools and then committing at like sophomore year as I'm like just now getting into the flow of like, hey, this is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty stressful for me junior and senior year,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't really start like making choices until senior year. So I was the second to last person from my committing class to go here.
Mm-hmm.
So it was me, and then it was Ashley Hand that
Okay.
committed last. But then there was 2 choices. It was either that or a school up in New Jersey. But the real like factor that made me choose here was just distance from home, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Just because like if I were to be in New Jersey and like something were to happen, I need to come home.
Right.
Like I would have to book a flight, fly home.
Right.
Like I wouldn't be able to like have easy access to like what I wanted to do without, you know, a car.
Yeah.
So I'm really close to my family, so whenever I wanted to come home, I can just come home.
So, as you very well know, Qrack the Code podcast is big into redefining the define, right? So, and changing the narrative of being a student athlete. So once you get here, once you get to Tennessee Tech, you already talked about the adversity that you faced, feeling that you were behind a little bit, you hadn't been playing as long. So how did you overcome that? How did you get past the fact that, okay, I'm just as good, if not better than most people around here, and that I'm supposed to be here? How did you overcome that obstacle?
Just by like not comparing myself to all the other players as much, because I think that's what really took the toll of whether I thought I would be good enough to like play at a Division I school or not. I wasn't always middle, so I started playing out middle in freshman year, but I kind of went back and forth between the front row positions until then. And then junior year, I hurt my back. I was out for about like 3 months, and then they're like, "Oh, you're gonna put you on the right side." I was like, "Okay." So did a little bit of that, and once senior year came around, I've kind of got my strength back. And then, you know, my club director was like, you know, like, you got the height, you got your strength back, we're gonna put you in middle.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like,
Okay.
okay. He said, you're gonna be recruited as middle. I was like, okay.
Okay. So are you currently at middle? Where are you at now?
Yes, I'm a middle
So
blocker.
you won't say this, but I'll say it for you. You're a star. You're a stud. You know, you're very good at what you do. What are you, like 8-time female athlete of the year here?
That's a lie. You made that up.
Was it 3, 2?
Definitely one.
That's one more award than I have. So how does that feel, though? How does that feel to be recognized by the athletic department, by your peers, and say, like, Taylor Dorsey is really, really good at what she does? How does that feel?
It feels pretty good. I usually don't. I mean, obviously, like, accolades are like something to be proud of, and it's weird for me just because, like, if I were to get like a compliment from somebody, I'm kind of weird with compliments. Like, I always appreciate them,
Mm-hmm.
be like, oh, thank you, like, I actually appreciate that, and
Mm-hmm.
like, but as far as like being recognized by the whole athletic department and hold me to that high of a standard, I mean, it's a good feeling, but obviously, like, I know like accolades are just like accolades, so like it's not really like defining like who I am. I just know that like I got here from like the work that I produce, so just got to keep on working to
Be great.
Yeah.
So now let's talk a little bit more about the team. I know you guys are 2-0 in conference so far, with
Yes.
a big game tomorrow at TSU.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you think the season is going thus far? How excited are you about this team? What are some of the things that you want to see this team accomplish?
I'm really excited about this team. We have a really big arsenal, so we have a lot of talented players on the team, a lot of versatile players. Preseason, we had a really tough preseason. Played a lot of mid-major, major schools, some schools that were ranked. Our last tournament at WKU, there was a lot of good teams there. WKU, Texas A&M, Indiana University. So that was, I mean, preseason was pretty much a big learning experience for us, and just like having, you know, like kind of like a come to Jesus meeting, just to be like, okay, like this is what we got to do, and like just knowing that who were playing in preseason, and like knowing that, okay, we can face like some pretty big teams and like do some good things, could somehow transfer into like how we're going to be competing as conference was about to begin.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like, just like staying consistent and like just being like our authentic self was probably just like the big factor of like our success.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. So we know you're one of the leaders of the team, if not the leader of the team. You know, you have a very big presence, and you are a very big piece of being of the team being great, right? So who on your team has stood out to you thus far in the season? We're very early in the season relatively. So what are some names of your teammates who have, you know, come along very nicely this season?
Yeah. So we have a freshman setter, Jordan Carlin. She's from Janesville, Wisconsin. She has become a big presence on the court. Two-time OVC setter and newcomer of the week. Yeah, so she just got that accolade this week. And one of the things that Waldo tells us about, just about whenever we get these OVC nominations, or not nominations but accolades, is that not one of us can do it without the other. So I mean, we owe it to everyone who's there on the court. Jordan can't do what she does if we don't get a pass from McKenna, Aaliyah, Maddie Furtado, and then she can't get her assist if it's not for me, Morgan, Isringhausen, Furtado, Brooke, like everybody. So it's basically a team effort, and then we do a lot of competition and practice too. So it's basically everybody like just wanting to like make everyone else better for the most part. Okay, so now let's go back to Taylor. Let's transition back to Taylor Dorsey. So what are some things that you are hoping to accomplish in your last season of, this is your last season, right? Your last season of collegiate volleyball. What are some accolades? Some fifth and final. Fifth and final. That's gonna be the title of your book, huh? Yeah, fifth and final. What are some things that you're hoping to accomplish? I like that name. Fifth and final. I like it too. That's hard. I mean, the biggest goal that we definitely are in a position to make it to the tournament this year, the OVC tournament. And that's one thing that we were able to accomplish, you know, last year, and then not the year before because of COVID, because they were only taking the top 4 teams. So we were just about a spot shy from actually making it, and we made it the year before. But each time we went, we played the first round but didn't make it all the way. So I'm really hoping that, you know, we become regular season champions, you know, finishing first in the conference, so that way we can, you know, have that tournament here at home. Yeah. Just so we can be in a position to like have like the resources and like the position that we need to like have everyone here, like trainers, student athletes, you know, the whole university, our parents, just so that we can like accomplish this thing that we've been longing for, because we haven't won a conference tournament since, we only won 2, so in 97 and then 2008. So that's one thing that we are really itching for, and I think that we're in the position and we have the potential to make that happen. Okay, so now I have a question for you. You are talking to a washed up, retired student athlete. I'm far past my prime, right? But I've seen my fair share of volleyball games, seen my fair share of games that you have played here, right? And we had this conversation not too long ago, but one thing that has always stood out to me is how energetic you guys are. After you guys score a point, make a big play, I'm volleyball illiterate. I don't really know what happened. I know spike, I know some sets, but, you know, we'll stay off of that. But shows you're paying attention, though. I am locked in, though. I know a little bit. But with that being said, the energy. Can you talk to a washed up football guy like myself about the energy? Where does that come from? Why are you guys so excited? Like, break it down for the viewers who know nothing about volleyball. Okay, so for those who have not seen the TTU bench, that's the heart of TTU volleyball games. It is. So we're very high on energy. So if it's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like crackhead energy, but like also trying to be funny. But like it's also like it's what's needed for like all of us to have. That's what we perform best on. It's just like fun-filled energy and just having fun with it, being like our authentic selves. Like we're with each other every day. We make fun of each other. We laugh. We just do a whole bunch of stupid stuff, and it's really funny. And so we perform at our best, like when we're authentic selves and we're just having fun and just like being funny with it. And one thing that helps us a lot is just celebrating like even the little stuff, like the big stuff, of course, like that calls for big celebrations, but also that just like celebrating the little stuff. Like we just got a point from free balling a ball over the net. I mean, that's crazy because that really happens. So it's like, I don't know, it's kind of hard for like other people to understand, but like it just works well for us. So
and I love it though. I love being a fan. I love coming to the games when I can. You don't hear me. I'm up in the nosebleed screaming, going crazy, but I'm a huge supporter. Let's transition a little bit though. So we know that you're a part of another team on this campus, another family, as we should say, and that's the Center of Diversity Education. You are a huge part of it, an integral part of it. You were one of the 8 founding members of it. So let's go back to 2020 and talk about that time when there was a lot of emotions. Let's go back and talk about how you were feeling during that time and how the formation of Code came about.
So basically what happened was, it was built on just when all the riots and like COVID was like, transpiring. It was the midst of the George Floyd killing, and everyone is just, I think it kind of like transpired all based on like just everyone was like just very opinionated in the school. So it could be like some people like saying like one thing about it and just like supporting it, but then like some other people would just be like, the cop didn't do anything wrong.
Kind of disregarding it.
Disregarding it, exactly. And so just basically like no one was like really saying or seeing, no one was being perceptive. I don't know if that's a word or not.
We're rolling with it.
No one was really being perceptive or respectful of like each other's sides, myself included. One thing that was the goal of Code was to just like, bring unity by diversity. So just being able to just like educate like ourselves and others. And that's one thing that I'm proud to share that I've learned is just like, in the midst of all that going on, like, everyone was angry. I was angry myself, but I was talking to my dad and all that and just saying, like, what's Code done and, like, all the stuff that was happening within, like, the school and teams and all. And just basically, like, him saying, like, it's good that you want to bring awareness and you want to make a change, but also you have to be respectful of other people's opinions, because other people's opinions are valid. And that's in the midst of, when the election was going on too. So, that was pretty heated time as well. And so, just being respectful towards other people and just like understanding like their perspective and like their opinions. And that was a pretty huge thing for me too. So I'm proud of that.
So you've been in it now. What year are we in? 3 years or so? Time is flying. I think we're going into year 3. So and you touched on it a little bit. What are some of the things that Code has taught you? What has Code done for Taylor Dorsey personally?
Just, being more outgoing. A lot of the members on Code it's been athletes who've, we see kind of time and time basis, but it's kind of brought in a bunch of other people who were feeling the same feelings that, the 8 founding people, gotten a hold of. And so it just brings friends. I mean, I met a lot of new people there, like on the track team, like I rarely talked to them before joining Code. So it's nice to have something that, you can share something in common with other sports teams, but also, even though it started off with just student athletes, like I like how we are drawing in like non-student athletes as well, who kind of shared the same vision that we had when we first started. So
now let's look into the future. What is something that you want to see Code do going forward, whether it be while you and I are still here, whether you're still here or much later into the future down the line when we're all gone and Code is still here standing? What is something that you want Code to accomplish and continue to do?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, the racism isn't going to go away. Like, there's always going to be, you know, like, social injustice everywhere, but also, and that's kind of what, like, brought Code together, but it's not what it's all about. So we do a lot of community outreach stuff, you know, can drives, we talk to students all around the Cookville area, so All Good, Baxter, do a lot of community service, and that's all great, but just on a more consistent basis. But it's kind of hard though too, because, you know, majority of us are student athletes, so schedule conflicts are kind of a factor of whether we can participate or not. But just hoping that, you know, we can still be consistent and, like, people still are willing to, like, take time to, you know, give back to community, but also, like, share their minds, share their opinions with us, each other, and then just with the community, and just try to make changes as we go. So
I'm gonna brag on you a little bit. Just get ready.
What are you gonna say?
I'm gonna brag on you.
Brag about what?
On you, of course. So let's go back to, this would have been 2020, obviously. And one of our first conversations that you and I ever had was, you know, I want to say something. I want to be able to use my voice, but you being reserved, that you didn't really know how. Now we fast forward 2 years later, and here you are, outgoing, talking, being the leader that you are, that you were destined to be. So let's look at somebody who was in a position or is currently in a position to where they feel like they don't know what to say or how to say it, or how to step into that leadership role. You being somebody who has done it and done it well, might I add, what is your advice to that young person who wants to be a leader, wants to say something, but is struggling to, one, find their voice, and two, use their voice?
I would say to anyone who's questioning whether they should be a leader or not, I mean, for me, like me, it took like maybe like 2 years, as you said, to come here. But just to, you know, don't let pressure make you do anything that you don't want to do. You know, come speak out in your own time, but also, you know, there's probably someone out there who's feeling the same way that you're feeling, but is too scared to say something. And if you feel like you're in a position to, you know, make change and be all about change and not just talk, then I would say go for it. But yeah. I
love that. So now let's go to another question, one of the Qrack the Code staple questions. You are in what, fifth and final, that's what we're calling it. So let's go back 5 years or 6 years to Taylor Dorsey as a freshman or as a high school senior. If you could tell her one thing that you know now that you didn't know then, what would it be? Ooh, this is a hard question. Listen,
that's a good question. I never thought about that. Freshman, high school, senior Taylor, freshman Taylor. Wow.
Anything that you've learned, anything that you've experienced here that you feel like has helped you grow? Maybe some advice or a nugget that you could tell young Taylor before all the adversity hit? Anything? Yeah.
I would say I think I've kind of did a good job, like, staying true to myself and not more so following the crowd. But also I would say, you know, I'm an overthinker. Yeah. So I overthink a lot. And so then it's kind of been kind of consistent, but also it was a lot worse high school year, senior year, and then going into freshman year. It was kind of bad just because, like, I didn't know, like, what to expect. Just being away from home, and, like, obviously it's college, so you're gonna have, like, a lot of temptations, but also just continue to stay true to yourself. Don't let anyone pressure to do it. Don't let anyone pressure you doing anything that you don't want them to do, and also just knowing what your priorities are.
I love that. You should be a motivational speaker. You're really good at that. So fifth and final. That might be the theme of this podcast. This episode.
That,
fifth and final. Okay, so we know that you are about to graduate in December, right?
Yes, sir.
So what comes next for Taylor Dorsey? What's after that?
I'm a PT major, so hopefully down the road, well, not down the road, but soon I will be applying to PT schools at some point, whenever I'm ready, and hopefully getting to PT school. But I'm also trying to see if I can continue to play volleyball somewhere, whether it be, in states or overseas somewhere, but that's the goal. But ultimately, physical therapy is where I'm gonna try and head towards.
You just gotta make me a promise that when you're this big volleyball superstar, you send a jersey my way, because I'm gonna frame it, I'm gonna put it up, it's gonna be on my wall of fame. You'll be the first jersey in there.
I will do that.
So fifth and final, right?
Fifth and final.
Let's do a little recap. Let's look retrospectively.
Okay.
What is something that you were gonna miss the most after you're done playing? Give
Oh
me a
my
favorite
goodness.
memory, anything.
Ugh, it's sad.
No, make it happy. We don't need to be sad.
I mean, I don't know. Just like Cookville's just been like my second home. I mean, like, is there a lot here? Probably not. But we tell everyone like the same coming in. Like Cookville's like what you make of it. So I mean, like the people, like all the friends that I've made since like my freshman year, have going to be like a big part of like what I miss. The community is like so welcoming. Like everyone's just always hungry to like help somebody else, and just like just love on other people, and especially the athletic community. Like everyone just supports one another, and definitely my team.
Yeah.
Like those are my best friends. Like I love them. Like they're a big part of who I came out to be this year. So that's going to be a tough pill to swallow, especially senior night.
I'll be there senior night. Screaming in the nosebleeds.
Screaming in the nosebleed. You're going to see all the crying faces.
No, it's going to be a happy day. We're going to win.
Man, everyone's going to cry. We are going to win, but there'll be some tears afterwards.
If you cry, I'll cry. And I don't cry.
Wow.
I'm not a cry, but if you cry,
I will make you cry.
You will make me cry. I'm going to miss you.
I'm going to miss you too.
Anyway, so let's talk about the most serious question that you're probably going to get asked in your time here.
Okay.
Qrack the Code staple question. It's very serious, not a game. Take it as such. Are you ready?
Yeah.
You're on a stranded island. Nope. You're laughing. You're not taking it seriously.
Go ahead.
You're on a stranded island. You can only bring 3 things with you. Taylor Dorsey, superstar, megastar. What are the 3 things that you are bringing with you on the stranded island? Only 3.
Are they handheld or can it be any size?
Listen, Taylor, this is a very open-ended question.
Okay.
I've only presented the question. I cannot give you any more information.
All right, cool.
Very serious.
A stranded island.
Stranded island. Water on all sides.
Did I just crash land it into a stranded island?
Listen, you're making me think way too hard about my question. You're on a stranded island.
We're not specific about it. Like
It's an open-ended question.
Like if I just boom popped on an island, how did I end up on an island?
You're making me think now.
Okay, you need to think about this question a little bit more.
No. We're gonna go back. We're gonna go back. You're on a stranded island, and you can only bring 3 things with you. What are the 3 things that you're bringing? You're deflecting. You're deflecting.
Okay. Fully charged phone.
That's a good one. Communication's important.
Communication. Because my phone also has a hotspot. So.
Okay. We'll need Wi-Fi, all right?
A pilot.
Okay.
And a private jet. Because the pilot can take me off the stranded island.
Yo, that might be the best answer that we've had.
Has no one ever said that?
No.
Why?
No. Well,
so you're just thinking like stranded, like you're going to be there forever?
Again, open-ended question, up for interpretation. I just present the question and let the...
You need to think about the question a little bit more.
The question was great, but that was great.
A pilot, a plane, and a phone to share my location to anybody.
Wow.
To be like, hey, like I'm on my way.
That was really, really good, actually. Chief Evans said he wanted some transportation. But I think he might be the only one to say that. But he didn't really go into detail.
Go into detail?
Fully charged phone.
Because that could be like somewhere on mainland in like an hour.
Yo.
Then I can get to actual like Wi-Fi spot and be like, hey, mom, like I'm here.
Listen.
Come get me. Pay for my ticket.
As you can see, Tennessee Tech does not just breed great volleyball players.
Survival skills.
They breed survivors and geniuses. Like, that was awesome. Awesome. Shout out to you for that one. That made me...
I'm very proud of that answer. I'm proud that I'm the only one that said that, actually.
You are the only one to say that. That was great. So
guess
Taylor...
Guess we'll know who survived the island.
You might be the only one. Taylor, we're wrapping up. I just want to say thank you so much for coming on this platform, sharing your story, giving more insight to the millions of subscribers that we have on the Qrack the Code podcast, and giving them a peek behind the curtain of who Taylor Dorsey is. And you said something very important earlier. You said that you guys tell all of the recruits that Cookeville's what you make of it, right?
Yeah.
So nobody else has told you. I want to be the one to tell you that you have made Cookeville a much better place, both on the court, but also the work that you have put in with our Center of Diversity Education family.
Aww.
Cookeville's gonna miss you. I'm gonna miss you. Thank you for being so great. And
thank you for having me. I'm really happy that we were able to make this happen.
You're a tough person to reach. You're busy.
No.
We won't talk about it.
I'm really not.
Anyway, thank you again so much.
We'll have a conversation about this after we log off. But it's not all my fault.
Thank you so much for being great. I appreciate you. We will be right back on the Qrack the Code podcast. Stay tuned. Welcome back on the Qrack the Code podcast. We just heard from the amazing, the spectacular Taylor Dorsey. She shared so many things. She blew my mind with her stranded island question, and that's never happened. So thank you, Taylor, for joining us on this podcast. Thank you for gracing us and sharing some of your story. And we could not do this without you. You helped start this, so I'm very appreciative of that. And also to the viewers, thank you guys for tuning in and sticking with us this long. It has been an amazing day, an amazing episode. And again, I have to thank our 5 code advisory board members. That is Mr. Tom Savage of the Cookeville NAACP. That is Chief Randy Evans of Cookeville PD. That is Dr. Lovita Birdwell, Dr. Julie Baker, and Coach Marcus King. Thank you guys for helping us see our vision through and helping us redefine the define. A couple updates. We play UT Martin this Sunday, and the football team is continuing to progress, continuing to jump over these hurdles and jump over these obstacles. So I cannot see what our guys do this weekend. We had a great last episode with Brett Thompson. If you haven't checked that out, please go check it out in the description box. And again, thank you guys for joining us on this journey of redefining the define and changing the narrative behind the student athlete. I am no longer a student athlete. I'm washed up. My bones ache every time I walk, but I'm so blessed to still be around so many great minds and continuing to progress with my Center of Diversity Education family. So thank you guys for wherever you're watching this. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for supporting. And once again, that is enough of me talking. I can't wait to see you guys next time. We're going to try to produce content much more consistently. So continue to tune in, continue to support. Please follow the family at our Twitter and Instagram handles. So again, that's enough. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. And as always, my name is Jamal Thompson, also known as JT, and this has been another episode of the Qrack the Code podcast.